Here from Hairdressers Journal. Welcome back to our Upskills series. Today's masterclass is supported by BaByliss PRO. For more information about BaByliss PRO, go to babyllisspro.co.uk or you can click the link in our comments. But this morning we are joined by Lisa Farrell, who is a Session Stylist and Director of WIG London. Welcome, Lisa.
Having me. Hi, everyone.
It's great to have you this morning. So we're really excited that you're going to be doing a tutorial with us today. Can you share a little bit about what you'll be showing us?
Yeah, so because I'm predominantly a session stylist, a lot of the times I use wigs. So I'm going to show you sort of the equipment that I use, but also how to create one of the looks that I've used in the Ed Sheeran music video, and just have a good old chin wag with you and do a little bit of hair like we do.
Amazing stuff. So for everyone watching, we'll also have time for questions, but so please do send them in as we go and I'll put them forward to Lisa. But without any further ado, I'll hand over to you, Lisa.
I feel like when I do this, I've got to do like big jazz hands and be like, today. But really what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk through a few of the things. So if any of you haven't seen one of these, this is a Cork Wig Head. So I use this predominantly just to put my wigs on to keep them secure and in place. So without any further ado, so this is a classic wig. So there's different types of wigs that I use. I normally build them up. I can make them. And, you know, as we were saying earlier, when we were having a little chat off screen, I kind of started doing wigs, going into the strip clubs, the gay clubs, and doing everyone's kind of hair and falling into it that way. I predominantly started in a black hair salon. So I would have clients coming to me all of the time wanting their wigs done and their hair laid and slayed, and it kind of was like only when the Kardashians came that this became like pop culture, that everyone now knows about wigs, and you know, when really that's not where it started in the salons and in the club. So we've got a classic wig here. This is a closure, so it's lace at the front, tracked at the back, and there's a little elastic band in here, so we put that around the back of the head just to ensure that it's secure on the head. Okay, so with the lace here at the front, we're going to pop this onto our cork head. And secure it down. So normally, oh, you guys can see that, there's two little flaps here. I love that word, two little flaps right at the sides, and these would be where the ears go, just on the head, so on the temples around here. Now with this lace, we will cut it around the client's head, but while we're styling it and while we might be colouring the hair, we wanting to create a hair piece, we're just going to use our little pins like this. And we're just going to secure this lace and pin it around the head. Now you can use silk ribbon. If this lace was already cut, I would maybe be securing it with a bit of silk ribbon so it wouldn't damage the lace. But because the majority of this lace is going to be cut off, I kind of just go bish, bash, bosh, straight in. Let's not mess about all the way. Because I feel like if we overcomplicate things, it gets quite scary. So I kind of like to try and keep it very simple. This is what we're doing. This is how it works. So we're going all the way around, just on the edge of that lace, pinning it into the hair.
Lisa, we've had a question in from Jasmine who'd like to know, can it be placed onto any shaped head?
Yeah, I mean, with these Cork wig heads, they come in different sizes, so you get like a 22, 24, 26. So if you're custom making this for a client, it'd be really good to measure up the circumference of their head. Now when I'm working on music videos or fashion shows, I don't always, like, a lot of the times I will have, if it's a big artist, I would have like a trial day where I go and I can try it on the head or try it on someone that looks like the celebrity or, you know, singer. But if you can't do that, what I would say to do is, if you put this elastic band in there, that will fit any size head. So you can make that tighter, make it longer. So that's kind of a nice little trick there, because if you turn up with a small wig and you can't get it on, you're going to be trying to cut it, you're trying to do all sorts. So you don't want to do that. I hope that answered your question. Okay, so now that's all secure, this would now be ready for us to style through the hair. Now with this lace here, when that's on the client's head, what I would do is I would use a little bit of gel when we're applying it onto the head to make it lie flat, and also use our little scissors here to trim around the lace. Now, we wouldn't be trimming a straight line, we trim quite a jagged line to make sure that it blends in smoothly. So that's how we apply a wig to the wig head before we're going to style it. Okay, Susie, you done? Next one, we're coming in.
Next client.
Next client. So that brings us on to this lovely wig here. Now, this wig I used on Ed Sheeran's. This is the actual wig that I used on Ed Sheeran for his Antisocial music video. And for this look, it was kind of like, I'm in the club, I'm drinking loads of like champagne, let's invite the girls over. And I don't know whether you've heard the song, but it goes, don't touch me. Like, that was the whole point. So it's like bougie, bougie, bougie. So this is applied exactly the same way, pinned all the way around. But what I really wanted to showcase is not only that this is Ed Sheeran's wig, but how can we create these curls? So that's what I'm going to show you today. Now, I'm very texture neutral. I'm that texture witch, because we can't say the other word live on Facebook. But when we have our clients come in, I think a lot of the time we want them to dry their hair naturally. We're a bit unsure when it comes to curly hair, and it's all about education. And sometimes we can freak out and go, don't let that be my client, don't let that be my client, don't let that be my client. Because I know that's what it was like for me when I was in the salon. So if a client comes in like this, or if you're on a music video, if you were somewhere and you were like, okay, what am I going to do? Because the hair texture through here, it's been brushed out, it's not defined. What am I going to do with the hair? So my go-to, and everyone, if anyone follows me or ever seen any shoots, this is like my go-to tool. This is like the bad boy kit essential that is in my kit bag with me all of the time. So it's the smallest tongue that BaByliss do here, and I'm going to go through and I'm just going to put this around every curl. So I'm going to let you watch me do that. So I'm going to pull out the curls through here, wrapping it around the hair. Now, there's no catch on here, so it's really cool, because when you get a catch on the hair, when you get a clasp, it tends to mark the hair. So what we want to do is just holding that hair in place for about 10 seconds, letting it drop, so we get that more, I don't know if you can see that more defined curl. Because even when you're doing a music video, everything's 360. The artist might decide that they want to, like, you know, do a head rock or jump off a building. You never know what's going to happen. So for this, the hair has to be globally looking good, right? But also, if there is some texture in here that you're trying to disguise, by going through and defining all of these curls, it will give the illusion that the whole hair is defined. Does that make sense?
Cool. So it's kind of like tricking the eye to believing that the whole wig is done with that kind of curl. Yeah,
right. Because if I was on set, and I have been on set multiple times, and a model will come in and she's got half wet hair, or, you know, she's been to a shoot before and her hair's frizzled, or, you know, and it's all brushed out. Really, what you want to do is you want to wash the hair, twist the hair, diffuse it, let it dry a little bit naturally, then maybe define it with the tongs. We haven't got that sort of time, and we haven't got those facilities on set. I could be in the middle of Scotland in a field, in a little shed with a plug. So I have to think about what I can do to make that hair look healthy and to make that hair look defined. And this is the perfect tool for that.
Amazing. And what's the heat on the tongue?
So I'm going in at 140. So with this textured hair, because if I was to blow this out, it's quite smooth. So I like to go in with kind of like a 140 temperature. I think the mistake that a lot of people make is they see textured hair and they want to go in with a super, super high temperature. Now, if you go in with a temperature that's too high, the problem is that it's just going to drop out, because you're going to, you know, overheat that hair. So it's very important that you assess the hair and you think, okay, what does this hair need? Although it's textured hair, what's the density like? What do I need to do?
Amazing. And we've had another question in from Jasmine who would like to know, what would you suggest if the client has a lot of product in the hair already? So if you've got a client that's rocked up to the video and they've got loads of product in, how would you go about it?
I mean, if they've got a lot of gel, a lot of oil in the hair, I would maybe spray the hair down and try and remove some of that product and then twist it, diffuse it. If it is that the hair's quite heavy, I would maybe go in with like a dry shampoo and then go in with my tongs. There's a lot that you can do, but I would say what I would do is I would work with the hair and not against it. So when I'm looking at hair, I'm normally going, okay, let's dance with the hair. Let's have a little look at what's achievable. Let's not do anything that the hair don't want us to do, because the hair's going to do what it wants to do. If you're trying to put a curl in there and it's got too much product on it and you can see steam coming off your tongs and your wand and you're like, oh my god, what should I do? So just take a step back and go, okay, my original idea might not work, but what can I do instead? What's my plan B? And for what I do, you know, as a session stylist, my plan B ends up being what I do a lot of the time. Like,
oh really?
Yeah, a lot of the time, because you can turn up and you might have to change location. You might be in the middle of nowhere. I remember being on a music video and it was like literally in the middle of nowhere. And last minute, the art direction changed and I'd made all of these hair pieces, all of these wigs, and it was like, it's not actually working. We need to do something else. And I was like, I'm in the middle of nowhere. I've got my kit bag. There's no packs. There's no salads. There's nothing. You know, BaByliss can't call me anything out if I haven't already got it. So I'm kind of like, you know, I've got the products that I've got from Matrix. I've got my BaByliss, you know, tong. I've got everything that I've got with me. So always I have a little magic bag. And in my magic bag is something that I can kind of, touch wood, make anything out of. And that's what I try and do. Always have a plan B.
Amazing. Yeah, I guess you've got to think on your feet if everything changes, and having your kit ready is such an important part of that.
Yeah, and really stay calm and just kind of like go, okay, it's all right, take a breather, you know. And you might have a model that's standing on the top of the cliff and you've done this beautiful wavy style and all of a sudden the wind goes and it goes whack. Model's face and everyone's going, oh my god, amazing, we love it. I'm like, totally what I was trying to do, you know. That's great.
Amazing. I guess it's kind of like a bit of serendipity, isn't it?
Definitely, you know, the universe works in mysterious ways and we're not saving lives here, you know. We're not the NHS. We are doing hair and we want to create something beautiful and we want to be the best with what we can do and what we can be and showcase our work. But things go wrong. Do you know what I mean? Things really do go wrong. So we have to, you know, not dwell on it, sit in a corner with our head against the wall going, I'm not doing it well enough, I'm not doing a good job, and go, actually, what can I do to make this into something else? Because it's art, and no one ever told Basquiat how to draw a man, because otherwise his face would be symmetrical. And you know, all the greatest artists come from pain, stories, and you know, dysfunctional art, and hair isn't any different.
Amazing. I love that point of view as well. And it's about, I guess, not dwelling too much on mistakes and just thinking, okay, what can I do in this moment to make it better?
Definitely talk to yourself nicely. You know, I always talk about like the inner child and how would you talk to a 3-year-old version of you? Like, would you tell them that they're doing a bad job? Would you tell them that they've messed up because they forgot to bring the right comb? Or would you go, actually, what can you do? How can you make this work? That's exactly what you would do.
Amazing advice. And how did you get into doing music videos?
So being relentless. So I'm not a very good networker, you know, like hairdressing networks, like award shows and all of that. I go to them, I attend them, I've entered awards, I've won awards, I've lost awards. I'm very honest about everything. But I've never been like a smoozer. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of like Marmite. I am who I am, but I'm a nice person. So you normally find me at the bar doing 10 Jaeger bombs rather than, you know, trying to smoosh the next hair contract from someone. So I think that's kind of how I got into music videos, just like being in the right place at the right time, working with different people and just being good at what I do, but with no ego. Like there's no space for an ego when you're doing a music video or anything really. Like make sure that you're nice to everyone. the person that's coming and bringing you your coffee, making sure that you're fed, the lecky that's making sure that you've got enough plugs so you can actually do hair. I think all of these factors are super important. There's no room for egos, and I think it's about breaking that cycle, because a lot of the times when you assist people or when people are coming up, there's this massive like egocentric going, okay, I'm going to throw a comb at you and, you know, catch this tongue. Like, none of that. It doesn't need to be. It's about breaking that cycle and, you know, just creating hair and being respectful to everyone around you. And I think that's super important. And when we talk about, you know, music videos, when I meet people, and they'll go, oh, you know, we'll start talking, and after a while they'll go, oh my God, you did Ed Sheeran, or you did, you was working on, you know, the Black Panther soundtrack, or, you know, Kendrick Lamar and all this. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not it's not who I am. It's not the first thing I say. And I think, you know, social media has a massive play in that, because everything isn't what it seems. You don't have to be, you know, a big bad wolf to succeed in this industry, and I think that's like really important as well. Like, it's about supporting others and bringing others up.
Yeah, that's great advice, and yeah, being nice and kind to everyone. And how do you go about if you're working with a celebrity client? Is there any kind of etiquette tips that you can share?
Well, I'm old school, so I think this is changing. So I've never been the one to go, can we have a selfie? Like, I put it on Instagram. But I know that that's massively changing, because I see people doing that all of the time. And I'm like, you actually like took a picture with them? Like, do you know what I mean? I'm very old school, and that's how it works. But I think just being calm and being professional, and just keeping your, I'm not going to swear, keeping your stuff together in a crisis is really important. Like, you're not the star of the show, right? So it's very easy to get wrapped up in the hair world of going, this is my hair, look at me, I'm doing stage work, I do this, I do that. Actually, when you're on set, you're all part of a team. So the hair isn't the star of the show, the star is. And it's about you, the makeup artist, the stylist, the whole team working together to create something special, and not trying to hog that limelight, because you're not going to succeed if you do that.
Amazing advice. And we've had a few more questions in, so I'll fire those away as we go. Laura would like to know, this type of hair has always scared me, especially drying it. It always ends up frizzy. What am I doing wrong?
Okay, first off, you're not doing anything wrong, because you've just asked the question. Be kind to yourself, okay? And the next one is just education, because I remember being in the salon and seeing someone come in and going, don't let that be my client, you know, I don't want it to go frizzy. So what I would say is, I get asked this question a lot. So when I'm drying the hair, it's all about the products that you're using. Some of my key products are, I love to use the Matrix Miracle Creator, because it speeds up the drying time, but it adds that moisture into the hair as well, which is what curly hair needs. I also make sure that I've got a serum. So this is really nice, like the Mega Sleek Varnish. Again, it's about adding that curl and that shine. So when you're drying the hair, which we could probably do, you know, on another session, or if, you know, DM me on my Instagram, I'll always help. But if you do a 2-strand twist, which I've got a video on my Instagram of doing, you then diffuse the hair with a hairdryer, like the BaByliss PRO hairdryer and the diffuser. You go in with the diffuser and you dry the hair, but leave it a little bit damp. If you can't, because, you know, you're on a shoot and you need it to be dry, go in with that diffuser around the hair, but avoid touching it with your fingers, okay? Then when you unravel the hair, you're going to shake it all out. Again, this is on my Instagram because it's a lot to take in now, but finishing off to make sure that it's not frizzy like this here, you'll go through with your micro tongue, which is going to give you the most realistic curl. Really realistic to natural hair texture, and you're going to go through. So can you see how this starts to define any of these frizzy areas here, and it's going to define that curl and give the illusion that the hair it is all defined and curly. And I think this is like, if you have one of these in your salon, in your kit bag, if you're ever having that moment of I don't know what to do, diffuse it, twist it, shake it out, and get your tongue out, because this is going to make it look like you know what you're doing. So yeah,
amazing.
Give it a go, tag me, let me have a look. But honestly, slide into my DMs, I'll send you the link to the video. There's also on online. There's a course that I've done. I can send you a link to that where there's a video and it explains it all in detail as well. So yeah, this is what I mean. It's all about helping each other, elevating each other, knocking out that culture of figure it out, you know, like I'm anti figure it out. I'm anti, you know, I want to share, want you to do better. My aim in life is to make all salons texture neutral and make people confident in curly hair and textured hair and afro hair, because everyone should be able to go to every salon. You should be able to go to a salon with your best friend, with your girlfriend, with your boyfriend. It doesn't matter, with your daughter, with your child. It doesn't matter if you've got different textured hairs. We want to have that bonding experience together. So that's my mission. And, you know, Wig London is my company and that's our mission as well. So yeah, don't be scared to slide into my DMs. I'll point you in the right direction.
Amazing stuff. And if you've got any other questions for Lisa, please do send them in. But we've had another one from Joe who says, I've been hairdressing for 15 years, but mainly all in the salon. I'd love to get into trying to do some session work. Do you have any advice for stylists?
I would say start connecting with people. The massive change from when I started out to now is social media. So social media has a lot of downfalls. It can make you feel like you're not doing enough and you're not creating enough and you're not putting yourself out there enough. But also it's amazing for connecting with everybody, because everyone's out there, everyone's putting their work out there. So it's this fantastic platform that you can reach out. Like a minute ago, I was like, slide into my DMs, find people that inspire you, get in touch with them, start following them, start creating your own portfolio. There might be someone at the local university if you're not in a big city like London. London has a lot of opportunities because there's a lot of people that want to be models and want to make it, and photographers that, you know, want to get their books together. If you haven't got that where you are, touch base with local photographers, local models, local stylists, put your own collections together. Start creating and building a portfolio and letting your creativity run. I know the other day I was looking through like my archive and my mum was sending me some clippets because obviously it's nearly it's apprenticeship week coming up or something, and she sent me some clips of when I was like in college, and I was like on the front page of the Mail, like, and I looked older than I look now because it was like late 90s, 2000s, and I never stopped. Like, it started from a very early age of me entering awards or your local competitions, and, you know, some of the shoots, you know, they're not the greatest, but that, you know, I was 19, 20 and I was like, you know, looking through Vogue thinking I can do this, and, you know, and I ended up, and I did. So it's just about putting yourself out there. How long did you say that you've been in the salon for?
It was for 15 years.
15 years. So one piece of advice I'd probably say as well is, a lot of people say, what would you tell your younger self? What would you tell your younger self? That's the saying, isn't it?
Yeah.
I kind of go against that. What would your younger self tell you? Because a lot of the time, as you get older and you start being in the industry a lot more, you kind of fall into a routine and a safety net, and you start to feel like, I don't want to put myself out there because what will my clients think? What will my peers think? Like, what about if I fail? What about if I fail? Do you know what? If you fail, you don't. Everything that you do that you don't succeed in puts you on a different path. And I think sometimes we have to think, what would our younger selves tell us? Because they're the fearless ones. Our past selves are probably more fearless than what we are now. So put yourself out there, girl.
That's great advice. And I love that, spinning that kind of phrase on its head, because as you say, like, when you're younger, you do have those ambitions and dreams and you don't put any limits on them. And I guess if you get stuck into a kind of routine, you might get a bit more stuck in a rut perhaps, but it's important to put yourself out there still, isn't it?
Like, babe, I'm from the Midlands, a small little town. If anyone said to me, you'd be going to LA, working on music videos, doing this, doing that, you know, a younger me would be like, yeah, right. But as you get older, you know, it's unbelievable. If you put your mind to something, in that mindset, where you can take yourself is shocking. Honestly, shocking. So, you know, no one's gonna be a bigger supporter than yourself, unless it's your mom, because yeah, my mom is my biggest cheerleader.
Amazing stuff. Can you talk us through what you're doing now at the back?
Yeah, so I'm starting to work all the way around through here. So as you could see before, we were starting to see that the hair is separated, they come in, but if you can see now, by just going in with our micro tongue, I'm starting to add a lot of definition through here to give us the illusion that we've got a uniform curl. Now, I don't want it to be too uniformed, although I've just said that. I'm going one way and then I'm going the other way, so that it's more natural, because naturally curly hair, it bends, it breaks, there's different layers to it. It's not going to be Annie, all right? It's not going to be all the same curl all the way through. So because we want it to give the illusion of the natural texture as well, what we're doing is I'm just going through and I'm just tonguing and using my tongues. Like if I'm looking down here, visually, I'm just going in. I'm not using like fancy fine sections, because if I try and put a comb in this hair, it's going to frizz up and it's going to go big, which is great if I'm doing a 70s or 80s inspired shoot, but that's not the aim here. It's about creating that natural, beautiful texture. So I'm just going around, and as you can see, like through the sides here, I'm like, okay, that's looking a little bit dead. So I'm just going to go through, pick this out and pull it out, twist and let it release. And I'm just doing that all the way around. I'm not picking up every single section. I'm being visual with it. You can see now how that's changing the whole perimeter.
Yeah, that definition's amazing.
Right?
Really good.
Honestly, like, yeah, I literally cannot fault this tool. So I'm still, again, I'm working all the way around. I'm looking.
We've had a few questions in on the wigs that you're using. Someone would like to know, are they human hair and do you make the wigs yourself?
Yeah, so they are human hair all the way through, ethnically sourced, and you can read more about them on wiglondon.com. So yeah, I do sometimes, if I haven't got time, I'll speak to someone that I know that makes wigs, but a lot of the time I make them myself, yeah, and create them for different briefs and different jobs, yeah.
Amazing stuff. And how long would it take you to make a wig? Or is that like saying how long is a piece of string?
Yeah, literally, because it just depends if you're going to have to colour match it. Is it for a certain theme? Does the hair need to be super thick? So yeah, it can be anything from like 2 days to a week. It really, really can be.
Amazing stuff. A lot of hard work goes into them.
Yeah, definitely. But I think one of the things that lockdown has taught me, especially this time around, is that you can literally be like anywhere and send a wig out and do it at home and do it in your studio, because you know a lot of the times like budgets are being cut now, like, and you know you're not allowed to touch people, you're not allowed to have that interaction. So being able to create a wig and send it away and then show someone how to apply it like we are now, I think it's invaluable. And I think that's kind of the way that the world's going, and that's kind of the new world that we're in. So that's what kind of lockdowns taught me, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be interesting to see how it might change in the future as well, and what elements of it we will keep in the industry. How did you get about, or can you share with us some of the other music videos that you've worked on?
So obviously the Ed Sheeran, I've worked on Kendrick Lamar and SZA's music video for the Black Panther soundtrack. Actually, shouldn't really be showing you this, but this is, so Matrix are doing a big global event on the 1st and 2nd of March called Synergy. So I'm going to be showing you how to create one of my Black Panther looks on there. You didn't see it?
That's really cool.
You can cut that out. I worked on Harry Styles music video. Yeah, to name but a few.
Amazing stuff. And how do you go about when you get a brief for a music video? Can you talk us through the process of how you kind of create the look for the hair?
Yeah, so normally like the creative direction, the art direction will have a very specific brief of what they want. You can have your creative license, but it's more like a story, especially like when you watch a music video, like it's very much, we're creating a feeling, we're creating a story. you know, and you can see that it's like a mini film, isn't it? It's like a beginning and an end, and you've got to squeeze that down into 3 minutes. So you'll be sent a storyboard, and it will be, okay, this is, you know, Ed's going to be sitting at a table when he wants to look like a G. Like there'll be kind of like a sketch of what they want to create. So you will then put your input in there. You'll be like, okay, is this actually like Pacific? Is this exactly what you want? Or can we have some creative license with this? I always put a little mood board together and throw my ideas in there. And, you know, they'll either be like, yes, amazing. Or it'll be like, actually, no, that's not what we're after. We want something more like this. Or it'll be like, no, I actually want what I asked for and what's exactly on the storyboard. And, you know, that's fine. Don't take that personal. It's not someone saying they don't like your work. It's that doesn't fit in the story. So that's kind of how it works. It's just having a good relationship with the team and the creative director, his vision or her vision or their vision, and seeing what you want to create.
Amazing stuff. Lots of comments saying that they're loving all the info in this. So thank you, Lisa. Beverly.
I don't shop, guys.
Beverly says, I remember doing wig making at college in the 70s. I teach my students how to do simple fly, flat, weft, and they love it. I think board work should be brought back to the hairdressing curriculum. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think slow and surely we're getting there, step by step. I think even, you know, with doing textured hair and curly hair, although there is a mandatory, I think it's mandatory now, and there is, you know, showing you how to do curly hair. But I remember being taught how to do curly hair, and it was kind of like, it was the loosest wave ever. You whack a diffuser on, put the head upside down, and it's like, yeah, passed. And I was that student that was like, well, no, I want to do 3 times, and I want to get someone with the most curliest hair so you can show me how to do it. But if your tutor doesn't know how to do that, then they can't show you that. So it comes from kind of systematic from the top of, you know, installing that education. And I think if you're showing your students how to do extensions and wigs, I think absolutely fantastic. And we need more further education and more education out there where people are still excited about what they're teaching and what they're doing, to inspire the next generation. And that's why I launched WIG London, because we're a private academy and we go out to salons, we go out to colleges, our team go out all across the UK to educate teams and tutors and hairdressers and managers and makeup artists how to be creative, and not how to be creative, but how to tick into their creativeness and how to fall in love with hair again, because only that way can you then take that onto your students. And also showing you just like simple techniques like this, how to then, you know, not be scared of curly clients that are coming in the salon. I think it's like so important.
Absolutely. It all starts with the education, doesn't it? And installing that confidence for salons to be able to approach any different hair texture.
Yeah, I remember being at college many moons ago. Well, not that many, let's not say that. But I remember being at college and going, I want to learn how to do Afro hair, and being told, why would you want to do that? No, you don't. Afro salons have their own Afro salons. People won't want you doing their hair. And I was completely discouraged. And this is what I say about being your own triumph. So instead of going, oh, okay, yeah, I went, well, no, I'm going to go to Birmingham. I'm going to go and work in an Afro hair salon. I'm going to go and learn how to do it properly, because I don't want anyone to be turned away from my salon because, you know, I can't do their hair. And that then translated into, you know, me working at London Fashion Week and being shoved in the corner, and I would get all the black girls or the textured hair girls, or go to Lisa in the corner. Because again, there wasn't that knowledge around there, and people are scared to say that they can't do something and ask for help. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I might not be the best at, you know, I don't know, best at a basket weave. Yeah, but I ain't afraid to say that. I ain't afraid to find someone on Instagram that does an amazing basket weave and go, babe, how did you do that? I'm not entering Hairdressers Journal Avant-Garde Hairdresser of the Year, because that's not my bag. I follow her and I find some amazing hairdressers that do that, but I'm entering Afro Hairdresser, I'm entering London Hairdresser, I'm entering things that I'm passionate about and that I know that I'm good at, and I'm not afraid to say to someone else, your work's amazing and how did you do that? And I think there needs to be, you know, less fear in doing that.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great that we're being able to kind of discuss more on the topic now. And yeah, it's so important to have the education there in the beginning as well, isn't it?
Definitely. And I think it would be very easy for me to sit here and go, hairdressers need to know how to do every textured hair. But there's been nothing out there. So instead of like talking and walking and talk the talk, I have to talk the talk and walk the walk. So I've put something in place. So if you do want to learn, I will show you. And there's other platforms and other things out there, but it's not about going, you should do this. It's like, well, if you want to, this is my belief system and here's an opportunity for you to learn. And yeah, for me, that's super important, because I was always like, I want to do this, but I don't know how. And I was like, I remember being 19 and having to go to Birmingham and fly here and try and hunt down where I could do textured hair and afro hair and black hair. And I was like, where can I do it? And it's like, I had to seek it out for myself rather than making it for a wider audience. And in saying that, it's really important that we create space and don't take space as well, because a lot of these institutions that we look at, it's not about taking over that space, it's about creating a safe space and creating your own space. So yeah, just like that.
Amazing stuff. And with these, with the tool that you're using, how might you advise clients to use this at home if they were to maybe purchase through the salon?
Yeah, so with this, if we have a look at this barrel and this shaft here, so you've got the temperature gauge here, the on-off button, all the way down, and we've got a piece of plastic at the end here that I can put my finger on, which is super important, because you don't want to be touching this, even though I'm touching it with my nails. But don't do it at home, kids. So you can touch the end. So when you're in the mirror, you want to be pulling your hair out, again visually wrapping it around the hair, pointing it down and away from the face, and just holding the end bit away when you're towards that end for about 10 seconds, and that'll give you your curl. It's really great to retail to your clients. It's really, I love it. Like, you know, when I knew that we were doing this today and it was about my favorite BaByliss product, I was like, it was a given. There was nothing else that I was going to do, because this is like, it comes with me everywhere.
Amazing. And it's got a nice long wand as well, hasn't it? So you can get lots of hair around it.
Yeah, 100%. So if you could have someone that's got super long hair all the way down to their waist, and it's going to work, you know, you're going to be able to wrap the hair around that. And don't get me wrong, there's so many different things that you can do with this, because at the minute we're creating that texture, that natural texture, but you could do this as like a corkscrew all the way around and make it very like Victorian, Edwardian, very periodic. You know, you could have the hair up like, you know, we're talking about, is it Bridgerton? Yeah, so you can make this very Bridgerton, Downton Abbey, putting the hair up, you know, getting the little spiral curls. There's so much that you can do with it, but I think showing you how to create textured hair is just something that a lot of hairdressers are so scared of, is invaluable. Okay, so I've gone around the whole of the hair with this. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to take my hand and I'm just going to use it like a claw, because we don't want to touch the curls too much, because a lot of the time, one of my pet peeves is when you put heat on the hair, people touch their hair with a comb, with their fingers. Now the hair needs to cool down to set. So if you go straight in with a comb, or you go straight in your fingers while the hair's still hot, you're going to change that shape that you've done all of that work to do. So you don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I've got my claw, and I'm going to go straight in, putting my hand down towards the scalp, and I'm going to give it a shake from the root. Okay, I might go a bit further back for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to shake it from the root. Now I'm just shaking out this curl because, again, like we said, I don't want to create a sort of a period hair where it's very like stiff. This is like about wavy, light textured hair. So I'm just going in and I'm separating these curls all the way through, giving it a good old shake. Again, I'm not touching the ends of the hair, shaking it from the root.
And by shaking it at the root, is that helping keep the definition in the hair throughout the lengths?
Yeah, it's helping to keep that definition, but can you see we're getting that volume to come through now? So it's going a bit more away from being uniformed, and it's creating more of that texture.
Amazing. Looks really cool.
Really, really cool. Right, and then so I'm looking at you because obviously I'm talking to you, but I'm using this mirror is like my mirror because I'm watching myself as well. So this is what I would be doing on set, and this is what I'd be doing with my clients. So like I'm looking here and I'm like, that's bothering me here, right?
Yeah.
You see, you saw that. That to me is throwing the whole shape off. So I'm going to go in, pick that out. I'm going with my tongue again. So I'm going one way, one the other way, one way, one the other way. Sounds like a rap song.
A hairdresser's rap.
Now this is the story all about how the hair got upside down. Right. So again, it's creating that definition through there. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a little bit of my height riser. Okay, so this is a powder. So what this is going to do, I'm just going to go in at the root, put a little bit of my powder. I mean, this is really great as well if your client's got a lot of product on their hair, the hair's a little bit greasy at the root, it's going to absorb that. But the main job of this, it's one job, does exactly what it says on the tin. It makes the hair rise, so it's giving us that volume. So if I'm coming through here, it's going to make the hair stand out a bit more. So again, putting it in, giving it a good shake, just to make that hair bigger. I'm going to step up, go all the way around the head. It's a good job I put trousers on, because normally any of these I'm sitting down the whole time, so I'm like, hey, got my slippers on, got my shirt on, let's not worry about it.
It's all good. This is a safe space.
Hey. Okay, so I'm just going around the whole of the head now. I'm giving it a good old shake.
Yeah, the volume on that's amazing.
Bigger the hair, the closer to Jesus, honey.
It looks amazing.
So we're getting this texture all the way through now. Again, going through our height riser.
We had a question from Kerry, who I think just joined us. She said, I've just got on to watch that wig is amazing. Was it naturally curly before you started?
Yeah, so it had a slight wave to it, but this was permed. And then I've gone in with my tongue as well.
Amazing.
It's all about like how we're cutting it, how we're layering it up. I've put the wefts in through here. This is literally wefts built and built and built and built to create that volume. So every time that I go in with a weft, I go one a little bit shorter each time, so that we get that shape coming all the way through.
Amazing.
So I've put that powder in. I've got it nice and big to create that texture. I'm now going to go in with my mega varnish. And I'm just going to go and twist around some of these curls, just to add a little bit of definition. All the way through. So again, this would be where the ears would be. We're coming the way around. I'm going to go and think this is kind of like where the fringe would be. So I'm going to pull this down, and I'm just freehand cutting it with my scissors. And if I want to create a bit more height through this top again, I'm going to come through, and I'm just going to freehand cut these curls to give me a bit more height through here.
Amazing. Amazing stuff. For everyone watching, this will be uploaded onto our YouTube and IGTV channels. So if you missed anything and want to rewatch it, it will be there. And we're also coming to the end. So if you've got any extra questions for Lisa, please do send them in.
So yeah, I'm going to go in again with my tongue. Now that I'm give it a good old shake, only with my micro wand. See if there's any areas that you want to choose up. And that's it. So what I would do then is I would place this onto my client's head, have a look, see how they're doing, and then I would probably use my tongue again once it's placed on. So that is my wig look, and I wonder if you know who it was for.
I love it. It looks brilliant. It's so cool.
Yeah, so 360 all the way around. Look, that tongue just gives us that pure definition.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Amazing. So we've got a few more minutes for some questions now. Jackie says, so inspirational, I could watch you forever. So lots of people that enjoyed that. Thank you so much. What's in your kit bag tool wise? Is there anything else that you like using?
Yeah, there's loads. So I mean, if we go through what I've used in particular? So we've got the BaByliss PRO wand here, amazing. Also Matrix Super Fixer Gel for when we're applying the wig. So I think like kit essentials would be this. Then we're going to go for our mega varnish here, and then this one that I've casually threw on the floor, height riser as well. And then we've got our scissors to cut the lace, and then we've got our pins. Bish bash bosh done. But when we've done this video, I can add a link and description to all of them as well. So also, while I've been in lockdown, which is quite interesting, because I've not been at home, I've been staying at my partner's house, there's certain things that I've needed that I haven't got with me. So I did find this really good water spray, which is like a really light mist. So a little fun fact, this is amazing for curly hair because it's super light mist, but this was on Amazon for a tenner. So really, really amazing product. So I can add the link to that as well.
Amazing stuff. We've got time for a few more questions if we can squeeze them in. Debbie would like to know, do you have assistants working with you?
I do, yeah. So with WIG London, we have an actual team of hair and makeup artists that are all texturally diverse, but all hair types, all skin tones. That's our team. But I do have a team of assistants that work with me as well. I don't really like to call them assistants. If I have to, I like to call them my team. I have Lindsay, she comes with me on most things. She's absolutely amazing. And then I call up different, hairdressers that I know if I need a wider team as well, or she can't make it. But she's like my right-hand girl. Love you, Linz. Little shout out.
Little shout out there. And I've got a few more questions here. Let me just check that I haven't missed any. Where would you advise people to go if they want to learn more about how to do and work with Afro hair?
I would say come over to my Instagram at Lisa Farrell, look at WIG London, www.wiglondon.com, slide into my DMs. I offer courses, I'm offering Zoom courses, but also just like free, good, honest advice. If you ask me, I'm all yours. I don't believe in trying to like sell an Eskimo ice, but if there's certain techniques that you need or you need to learn, we do offer courses for it. If you just need pointing in the right direction or some advice, I'll just give you some advice. Like, you know what I mean? It's a hard time for everyone. So yeah, just like reach out, get in touch, have a look on like Instagram, but definitely come on board, have a look at me, have a look at WIG London, because that's everything that we do.
Amazing. And for anyone who wants to get into wigs, where would you point them in the direction?
It's funny you should say that, because I've got a wig line coming out pretty soon that was pushed back because of COVID. So that'll be launching pretty soon, but anything to do with wigs, again, wiglondon.com, we offer everything that you want, you need to know, everything that you want, wiglondon.com.
Amazing. And we've had loads more comments in. One from Jill, who says, thank you for the amazing tutorial. The students of Riverside College Northwest are loving it.
Ah, what's up, guys? Stay in school.
Oh, well, I think that brings us to the end of today's session, but thank you so much, Lisa, for doing a demonstration today. I think we all really enjoyed that, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I fully enjoyed myself. And yeah, if anyone wants to know anything, I'll be adding all of the products underneath. If you want to ask me any questions, I'll answer them. But if not, head over to me on Instagram.
Amazing. And we will have this video uploaded onto our YouTube and IGTV channels. So do check back there if you want to rewatch. But yes, you will. Be famous as Ed Sheeran.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I'll take it.
Amazing. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us today.
Bye.
Thanks, Lisa. Bye.
Stay safe. Stay in school.